Hello everyone, welcome back to Understand. We're heading into 3-6. But before we head in, because I don't know, I had some stuff I wanted to talk about, and it's like really hard to talk while also describing how I'm solving the puzzles. So I watched, in between the last episode and this one, I watched like the first 20 minutes of a video of Jonathan Blow playing through this game, which I thought would be pretty cool, right? Because he's like, he made The Witness, he made Braid. It's like, okay, both very good games, but The Witness in particular, like, seems like kind of the inspiration for this one. And it was awful. I hated watching it. I gave up. It's like a 3.5-hour video, which is I'm sure eventually he gets going, but like in 20 minutes he like flies through the early puzzles, just sort of like clicking stuff without really trying to internalize what's going on. Doesn't notice when it tells him like in 1-2, it's like, all right, okay, we're going from squares to circles for some reason. Who knows? Okay, square to circle, square to circle. He like doesn't notice that the whole point of 1-2 is to teach you that the rules are different between 1-1 and 1-2. And he gets to 1-3, and he's like, oh, okay, I guess we got to go through upside down triangles, or maybe we have to not go through right side ups. I forget what the rule is here. We do have to go through them. And then he gets to 1-4, and he's like, that's so weird. The rule is the opposite. What's special about this arrow, like triangle? You have to treat it differently than the last one. And he just like refuses to acknowledge that there might be some difference in the rules because nothing told him, in quotes. And like, also he doesn't figure out what these are in at least the first 20 minutes. He's like, oh, that's weird. Instead of 2 of these, now there's 4 of them. I wonder what's up with that. I think he got at some point where there are 4. And like he just says, oh, okay, well, there's 2 shapes on the screen. This must mean that you satisfied all the circles on screen. This is all the squares. And like he gets here and he's like, oh, that's weird. There's okay, yeah, so okay, all the circles, all the squares, got it. Like, and then here, but okay, there's 3 shapes. Okay, we have to go through the circle and the square and the upside down triangle. But then there's some puzzle finally where this doesn't make sense. This one. He gets stuck on this one for ages. Because he hasn't worked out like that there are 3 rules and that the previous 4 puzzles were teaching you what the 3 rules are. He's like, why did, oh, right. He's also like, but I learned in 1-3 that you're supposed to go through the upside down triangles. Why am I now like having to go through some of the right side up ones? And it's just like, oh my god, I gave up. I hated it. So if you guys want to watch it, you can go. I'm sure it's very interesting, and I bet if you like, by the time I gave up, he was like finally coming to terms with the idea that they might be changing the rules in between levels. And in the meantime, he's on like 1-8 and like still hasn't figured this out. And he's just, oh, I'm just clicking randomly. The game didn't teach me well enough. This is the game's fault. What should I do, chat? I hated it so much, but I'm sure it's very interesting if you want to watch that. So there you go. I'm sure I won't link to it. You can find it, I'm sure. I won't link to it because what I found was a bootleg of like some user uploaded a YouTube video from his Twitch VOD because Twitch VODs go away after a while. It was not Jonathan Blow doing it. Anyway, was not Jonathan Blow's video. So it's telling me to do this. That's fine. These are all no good. Start and end on circle. That seems about right. Yeah, that's the first one and the second one. Maybe rule 3 is about not going through any other shapes. Yeah, that seems about right. And rule 4 is something to do with dividing the grid. We'll figure that out later. So in this one, we had the grid subdivided, I guess, and that doesn't seem to be enough this time. I assume this is about the same? Do we want exactly 2 squares in each region, perhaps? Okay, possible. That would lead to a solution like this. Okay, seems easy enough. I guess since there are 0 squares, we will need 0 regions with 2 squares each, which should be easy enough to accomplish, I think. But you have to start from not the... There you go. Huh. I can't go through a square, can I? No. So 2 squares each was the wrong idea. I can't... Yeah, that's not okay. Huh. There's not that many ways to start on a circle and end on a circle here. I guess that's one. 2 shapes in every region, not 2 circles. Now this is an entire region. So that's what I think now. How could I prove this? I think I could do something like that? Yeah, okay. So that seems to fit. 2 shapes in every unfilled region. And since there are 3 squares here, we need at least 2 unfilled regions. So this isn't going to work, is it? I guess I have to go through this circle and then cut these guys off from each other? No, because now there's no way. I need to include a circle in one of these regions, right? There's no way to turn this corner without isolating that circle. So maybe I have to start from one of these 2 corners. Because that's slightly different, right? Like... No? Well, hang on. Actually, that looks about right as long as I do this first. There we go. Oh, come on! There's 2 shapes in every region, right? Nope, not this region up here. I see. I accidentally made another region here. How could I fix that? I guess just go like this, right? And leave the gap here instead of here, and then it'll be part of this region. So... that? Yeah, that looks good. And I'm allowed to go through as many circles as I want, if I want to include them or exclude them, so that's fine. Starting here seems aesthetically pleasing. We'll see if it's correct. Actually, hang on. Well, yeah, I guess that's a way to isolate a square, right? But I accidentally left an open region on the left, huh? This isn't going to work, but that could. I could do this. That looks all right. Yeah. Okay, that's 3-6 down. On to 3-7. Okay, this is allowed. Are we starting on circle again? Oh, there's 5 rules. Good heavens. So start on circle, end on square seems like an important rule. Not touching triangle seems probably important. Notice this satisfies 3 rules. Everything except starting and ending on square and circle. And this breaks all of them. I imagine this will too? Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know yet. Rule 3 is satisfied by this, and by this, and so is rule 4. Rule 5 is a mystery, though. Okay. So I bet this is... Hang on. Well, I've seen now that... Well, I don't know. So this was putting one triangle in one unfilled region, and that was allowed. This is the same, but with 2 unfilled regions with a triangle each. Okay. It's interesting, though, that this doesn't satisfy the 5th rule. Right? Because each region has 1 triangle in it, and there are 2 of them either way. So is it that each region must be the same? If that were the case, this would be allowed, unless they actually care about like the positions of the area. I can't really test any more in this one, I think. So now we'll see, is this legal? It's not, but this is. Yeah. So it cares about the orientation of the regions, it seems. I could do this, and that's interesting. It doesn't like this. Why not? These are the same regions, right? Each triangle needs exactly 2 open spaces next to it could be one of the rules. Oh, this satisfies the 5th rule. I didn't notice this. Huh. That doesn't. Huh. Still don't understand the 5th rule. Wait a minute. No, I thought briefly that the number of open spaces was increasing as we went along through the puzzle. Like, this has 3... Each triangle's in a 3 region. Here they're in a 4 region. But in the first one, they're also in 3 regions. So that doesn't seem to be it. Okay, now there's only 1 triangle. Oh, you do get to look ahead at all the puzzles you will be doing in I never noticed that. Okay. So like, I mean, I can do something like this. It's not allowed. That is allowed. And it seems to confirm my, like, definitely wrong idea that I had before about, like, the space that triangles are in must be increasing, right? Maybe this is more like every open space has to have a triangle in it. How could I test this hypothesis? I could do this, right? That's not allowed. Huh. That's quite surprising, actually. Because I don't really see how that's fundamentally different from this. The triangle's in a larger space, but the space it's in was large enough for this puzzle. I mean, we could do this, for example, and put them both in large regions, but... And like, I assume that's no good, but I don't know why. And like, I also assume this will be illegal, but I don't know why. You have to be like very specific about the regions into which the triangles are placed. But I don't understand what governs whether the region is correct. This is the same puzzle, but just one wider, huh? So I did this because it's kind of the obvious symmetrical way to get from here to here. And it seems like symmetry is important in all of the puzzles except this one. But symmetry is also not sufficient, because this is also symmetrical, but not acceptable. And this fourth puzzle is really the one that gets me, because there's some other things you might say about the triangles in here. For example, each triangle has exactly 2 adjacent open squares, in here and here and here. And that's a property that is not maintained here, and this is illegal. So you might say, ah, maybe that's important. But then here we get this fucking triangle that's not got any rotational symmetry, any symmetry with anything. It's got 3 open spaces. I don't understand why this triangle is happy. And furthermore, why this triangle is sad. And like, I just guessed the right solution for this one, which is this, because it seems natural, but like, did I already try this and show that it doesn't work? It doesn't work, but I don't know why. Right? More symmetry. But why? Oh, here's a thought. Does that work? Yeah, okay, I think I get it now. The size of all regions must be the same, including the one filled-in region formed by the line. Notice here, it's size 4, 4, and 4. But 6, 3, and 3 is illegal. Likewise here, we have 6 and 6. 5, 5, and 5. 6, 6, and 6. 7, 7, and 7. Okay, figured it out just in time for a really big one. Okay. Well, there's 2 triangles, and we need each triangle in its own region. So we need 3 regions. And the grid size is 8 by 9, which is 72. So we need... What the heck is 72 divided by 3? 24. We need regions of size 24 around each of these things. Okay, I mean, that shouldn't be too hard, right? Oh, don't close that off. There you go. It is a little bit trickier because you have to do it with making this line exactly size 24 as well. But okay, anyway, it has 6 now, 10. And if we carry this line all the way to the top, it would have, what, 9, 18? So we need 4 more than that? No, 6 more. So it's sort of like that, right? 8, 14, 24, yeah. Ah, but doing that, I can no longer reach the square. So I'll just do something like that, I think is okay. 9, 14, 24, yeah. And how long is this region that I've drawn so far? 4, 8. I can't use pencil marks on the screen, so I'll just count with my fingers, pardon me. 4, 8, 12. Too long. I have 16 already. I have to get there using only 8 more steps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, well, I can just not do this little dog leg at the bottom. No, I have to. Right? This down here. Because I have to cut it off at the bottom to separate it. Okay. Maybe this is the way to go about it. So, oh man. Like, what does this get me? Is this even close to being symmetrical? 5, 15, 19 for the triangles region, so I need to make it bigger by 5, which is easy enough, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like that. Now I have 10 and 14. That's 24. But I think I've made the line too long. On the right, I have 6, 12, 18, 22. So this won't be valid because the line's a little too long. Well, I don't, strictly speaking, have to come down here. Doing so just means those squares go to this triangle instead, which is like maybe, which is okay as long as I. This is like way harder than it seems. Seems like it should be. So I could do something more like this. Oh, should I be doing some sort of like area versus perimeter calculation? What shape has a perimeter of 24 and an area of 24, right? Like, there are such shapes. I don't know. That seems hard. Let's not do that. So we've given it size 20 so far. That's 22. That would be 24, right? Yes, very easy to count. 4 5s and a 4. And the other triangle, okay, that just works. Might as well click and let it auto count for you. So let's just confirm that I'm right about these rules, right? We have 2 times 8 is is 16. Plus 8 is 24. Yeah, okay. And then you give me another puzzle to do. Ugh, and I have to make 4 regions. This is just the worst. In a grid of size 5, 12 by 8, which is 96. So each region has to be size 24. Yeah. Again, size 24, huh? Just like last time, easy. Well, I guess the nice thing about 24 is it has an awful lot of factors. 3 by 8, for example. Jeez, I don't know. I kind of feel like I should give one of them a really tall, like a kind of squarish region, and another one a thin strip, but I don't have any reason for that. It just seems cool. 16, so that would complete this region, right? 3 6s and a 4. Yeah. No, it's only 22. Yeah, 3 6s and a 4 is 22. So, you know, something like that, for example. But I don't think we want to come up here just yet, do we? Maybe we do. How am I doing on line length? I guess it doesn't really matter. No, it might. So we have 5, 9, 13, 15. Which means I have 9 to get to the square? Like, that's not possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So nothing I do that starts here is going to be correct. Okay, well, let's just not dip down as far then. That gives me 2 more wiggle room to work with to get to the square, which is what I needed. Now we're giving out 5s, so 4 5s and a 4 will do it, and we don't have to do any weird bending, right? Okay. 6, and I've used 12. So I think now I have room to get down to the square, and I want to do it something like this, but in a way that'll make the region sizes right. Which I guess would be like that. Yeah. I noticed that the bottom 2 rows are exactly a perfect 24, but I needed to use one of them up for the square, so I took 1 extra space here. That was a kind of interesting little area. We're finally allowed into 5-1, but I refuse. We'll try to do 3-8. Okay. Of course, that's also allowed. First rule seems to be touch no shapes, probably. Second rule, not sure. There are various things you could guess, like 1 circle in each region, for example, met by this. Don't know. So this is probably okay? No. This is. Why? All of the squares have to be in the same region. It's a possibility, right? It's satisfied by this and by this, but, you know, it's hard to tell in a 1D thing, so... I mean, both of these are fine. We know shapes are allowed to be in the same region as each other from this puzzle. So my hypothesis is all squares in the same region. In which case this would be valid, but it's not. Well, okay, I guess this makes sense. This is basically the same as the previous puzzle. A circle by itself, 2 squares in a circle. Sure. But I haven't learned anything new from it. Except, oh, I did learn that this is not valid. And this isn't either. So there's a difference between circles and squares of some kind. It's not just like, for example, a single region with 1 shape and the other region with 3 shapes. Okay, well, we'll try to improve on this understanding. Only one circle per region would be another way to understand things, maybe? Okay, that seems plausible so far. So don't touch any shapes. One circle per region. And some other rule. So there goes the one circle per region rule. No two regions with the same number of shapes would be a way to disprove this, maybe? It hates this. It can't be all the squares in the same region because this puzzle doesn't have that property. What is this all about? So we do have all the circles in the same region, in separate regions. Not more than two squares in a single region, maybe? Okay, that would explain why this was no good, I guess. Oh, but this also broke rule 2 and 3 about circles. Like, I thought one of the rules was each circle in its own region. But even if we put at most 2 squares in each region, this is still no good. What did I even do that worked? I did like that, didn't I? Apparently not. Oh no. I've forgotten the working solution. So this solution works. So maybe the rule is more like in a region, the count of each shape must be within one of each other. For example, in this region we have 1 circle and 0 squares, so that's okay. Here they're even. Here we have 2 squares and 1 circle, so that's okay. But I feel like I did some stuff before that would have satisfied that, but that didn't work. Like this. Did I try this? Oh, but the third rule is satisfied with it. That's interesting. Second rule isn't. Maybe the second rule is each circle in it. Well, no, because this clearly meets that rule. My hypothesis about counting each shape, and it's wrong. So okay, we had a thing that went something like this, didn't we? Oh my god, I keep losing track of it. I just tried this. I know it's wrong. I swear that the right answer started here. I thought it went up like this. Well, it must have come up here because at the time I believed the rule was 1 circle in each region. And they came over here. Did they go straight down? No. Like this? Oops. No. Ah! I swear it was this that was okay, but apparently not. I could try to watch the footage. Hmm. Show me my old correct answer. Maybe I did something more like this? No. I haven't figured out this one at all. And there just doesn't seem to be much room to play around on the early ones to discover what the rules are. So the third rule is satisfied by this, which is interesting. But not by this. Right, we did learn that circles and squares are different as far as the second rule is concerned. But the third rule doesn't seem to care. These are both equally fine to the third rule, and so is this and this. Okay. So the third rule is still happy even here. What do I have to do to make the third rule unhappy? It doesn't mind any of this stuff, which is interesting. It doesn't mind these guys being like that, huh? It does not like this. Doesn't like that. It's this turn here that it doesn't like, because I split the grid when I did that. So it won't mind this. But it'll hate... It doesn't mind this either. Okay, what is special about this? Each region has one circle and a different number of squares? Maybe. Previously we had 0 and 1, then 0 and 2, 0 and 2. Now we've got 0, 1, and 2. So how could I test this? Well, first of all, I could do this first, right? That should preserve the properties, yes. And it doesn't care if I do that either. And if I start here, that should be okay? Uh-huh. And then I guess we could do something totally different like that. And that's okay. All right, so I'm starting to get the idea that this is the right idea. But like, for example, this will also be valid. Yeah, these are both fine. They move the second square. Okay. But something like that will be invalid because there are two regions with one square in them. Oh, also 1 square is in a region with no circles. Okay. Yeah, and we made rules 2 and 3 both break by doing that. That sounds pretty good. Right, so that's my hypothesis. Oh, I already did this one? What's the difference between these two? Maybe that's why I got confused, is that I thought my solution to 384 should apply to 385 and it didn't. Okay, does this also meet my hypothesis? It does. So we have 3 regions and 4 squares. We could do that with 0, 1, and 3, right? So something like that and that. Okay. Now we have 4 regions and 8 squares. Ooh, these guys being clustered together is interesting. It means they have to be in groups of 2 or more. So that's a group of size 2. That's a group of size 0. I can't make a group of size 1 anymore, but maybe that's okay. No, it's not. Okay, so that can't be right. Those are 2 2s, that's no good. I need one with only 1, right? There's my 1. And now... No, because now I've cut this guy off. When I come through here, I have to cut one of them off, huh? Obviously, I don't have to start here. I don't know where I should start. I thought it would be nice to split these 2 circles. Because I know that... Yeah, that's true. I do have to start here, don't I? These 2 circles must be in different regions, which means this space must be filled. And so it must be the start or end point of a line, because it can't be the midpoint. So I know at least this much is correct. Great. That's a stepping stone on the way to victory. And this guy here has to have at least 1 square in his region, because I can't give him 0. That's not true. I could end here, I suppose, and give him 0 that way. Well, if I'd given this 1 to somebody else, maybe, like that. He could have 0. 0, 1, and so what I would need then is 3 and 4, yeah? So I can actually do that. If I just give... but then I can't separate these guys from each other. It's easy enough to split the squares in the way that I want. Like so. I have a 0, a 3, a 1, and a 4. But the circles are not split anymore. Is it... Excuse me, this laptop is... When it's plugged in and it finishes charging, it just dings every so often. Until you unplug it. You can't make it stop. I couldn't figure out how. So I have to leave it unplugged over the weekend when I'm not working. I didn't unplug it today. Also, it's not the weekend. I just unplug it overnight so it doesn't keep going crazy. So I was trying to think, is it possible to have a solution that goes through here? It's kind of hard to imagine, isn't it? So if I go through here, I've cut this guy off with only 2. This is a 0. Yeah, I can't... I can't give this guy 3 easily, right? This is 0125. I guess that also works, right? Okay. Cool. Well, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.